Right. Yeah. And even when it's not. I always tell my kids, and I even all the teams that I coach when I was a kid. All 6 years. Teach my daughter. Two teams that like. I don't know. So everything else that you can do. Yeah, cool. I pulled that out and he did. And it's not normally one that I thought, whoa, I mean, yeah. You were close.
Sharon, are you ready? Okay, I'll call the meeting to order. Commissioner Covey and Brian Mon are present, and Joe Blau's in for Commissioner Bloomer. It was properly posted on February 8th, and I'll lead us in the prayer and pledge. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for the opportunity to get together and conduct people's business. We'll ask that your hand be on these proceedings and safety for our employees. In your name, amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, is the blanket today ready?
This item is placed on here that if a decision or approval is made, that we can complete the encumbrance and issue a purchase order. So if you could put this item at the end of the docket, that would be helpful.
Okay. All right. What you have before you then are the three law firms that responded to our request. In the Pierce Couch was the lowest of the rates. That's who has been representing us. The Briggs Abney was asked for before we were served notice that they are engaging in litigation with the county. So I don't know if they knew that at the time they declared there was no conflict of interest, but I'm pointing out that that just got filed and they are represented with an attorney in their firm that's engaging against the county. And another attorney firm that had conflicted out because of the conflict with both the trust and the county recommended the attorney with Feller Snyder, which is how I was led to that once they declined. So those are your three choices. Any comments, any questions, any motions?
Well, I would say, first of all, all three are very reputable law firms. I do think Riggs Abney is conflicted out. And of the two remainder firms in there, obviously, we've used Pierce Couch quite a bit with regard to litigation. I would be happy with either firm. So I don't know, Mr. Blau, do you have a?
Well, our thoughts, commissioners, were that because we have used Pierce Couch and they're familiar with the way that we've done business and they have so much background in other cases that may be applicable here, and their cost is the lowest, that they might be the best. As you said, not that they're a better firm necessarily, but that they're more familiar with us and the cost. So
Okay, one of you care to make a motion?
I'll go ahead and move that we approve item 3, which would be the Pierce Couch firm.
I will second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second, and I think that's one motion on this item. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And then as a result, as a follow-up on this item, Michael has the document for which fund they will need to be paid for that we need to vote to accept into the record so that you have the right account number to draw the fees from. So he's handing it to you. So is there a motion to receive that document into the record?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so I think we can strike 2 and 4.
Motion to strike items 2 and 4.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any commissioner comments?
Commissioner Bloomer is headed to NACO, where she will attend the general sessions as well as the NACO Public Safety Steering Committee that she's a member of.
Okay.
Yeah, I do have something to say. So, when I was growing up, there was I think Commissioner Bond might be old enough to remember, certainly Mr. Blau and I are, used to be a radio program called Paul Harvey, and he would do the rest of the story. So I'm aware that there was some consternation about some remarks made by our jail trust CEO the other day, but here's the rest of the story. And I think it helps shed a light on putting things in context. Greg Williams' own mother died of COVID. When she was dying of COVID because of COVID protocols, he was not permitted to be next to her bedside. And he had to tell his mother he loved her by just holding up a sign in the window. Obviously, he cares a great deal about that. I think when you look at that and you put his remarks in context, you'll see they're a whole lot more innocuous than some have made them out to be. Greg's done a fantastic job fixing things that we were able to provide federal funds for in that jail, which has made it a better place for people who work there and inmates who reside there. He's done a fantastic job. I don't think there's anybody else who could have done a better job at that position. And I just wanted to point out that sometimes when we hear the rest of the story, when we don't make a rush to judgment on things, I think we find out that things look a whole lot different. And so I have great confidence in Greg and the job he's doing. And I just wanted to point that out. Thank you.
Okay. And citizens signed up to speak are Mr. Sean Cummings.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome back. Mr. Calvi, I've yet to see you for months now, unless it's a political opportune event. Do these two guys still have jobs? Do these two guys still have jobs? Somebody nod. Nod, blink your eyes. Calvi, shame on you. Your stupid ass Paul Harvey thing. It's on the tape. If he was on the other side and was a prosecutor, he'd use the exact same tape against him. He's full of it as usual. Carrie didn't show. Okay, my representative, so I'll be addressing you for the representative of my representative I did not elect in a minute. What have you done about this, Brian? Have you called for anybody's resignation? Have you done anything? I got this poorly written, lame letter from Carrie. Doesn't call for anything. Now, you guys have an opportunity, because the cameras are on you and everything else, to say something and do something. This is embarrassing and shameful. And whatever that bullshit was, is because he's running for office and he needs to kiss everybody's ass he can. What have you done about it? You're not up for 2 years, but you're going to be living a block away from me, which I can just move right over there. Carrie, I'm still in District 1. And we've already had 2 meetings of people to put up against her that are not the 2 that are already there. So you can relay a message to her. She starts biting like a dog and fighting like a dog, or she should never have come into the village. She is not representing us. None of us voted for her. You all gerrymandered the district so she could have the white vote of the village. She got the white vote of the village unless we put somebody more well-known from the village against her. That's how this works. I gave her the list of things I expect, and she doesn't have to fire anybody. Ask for the resignations. Somebody here's got to grow a pair. You're the weakest 3 human beings I've ever seen in my life. It's embarrassing. She's a doormat. These guys beat her up on a weekly basis. They're just abusive men. You, I don't know who gives you your orders. You're unpredictable. This piece of you-know-what over here, he's just a political cockroach. That's what we've got going with the 3 of you, that you've let this thing go. You got to be joking me. So you were national news this morning, and we're just going to keep drumming it up and keep it going and keep it going, keep it going. But humiliation doesn't bother any of you. Like the junkies. You guys literally are like junkies. Bye, guys.
Mark Falk.
Well, congratulations. You made international news. You are on the Yahoo news feed today. You created this mess. This is your mess to clean up. You could have taken a jail trust to a vote of the people, which is the proper way to do it. Calvi, why are you here? You're back on your damn phone again. You never listen. You don't show up. You don't earn your paycheck. The only paycheck you're earning is apparently from your overlords who feed money into your pocket for you to be a corrupt piece of shit. Put your phone down and listen to the constituents for once in your sorry life. You're on international news. You created this mess. You created this. If the people had voted on a jail trust, you could have said, not our problem. We didn't create this jail trust, but you did. Brian Mon, you appointed Ben Brown. Ben Brown, who came out in the news yesterday when confronted with someone making horrible comments about people dying and profiting off of their dead bodies, Kevin Calvi. And again, Kevin, I can't even call you commissioner because you don't deserve the title. But Kevin, are you listening? Are you even listening? I want to tell you right now, your sad story is fine. Guess what? That was a sad story, and I feel sorry for him for that. That doesn't give him the right to steal millions, and hopefully, as they are planning to steal hundreds of millions of dollars from Oklahoma taxpayers. It does not give him that right. Brian Mon, you appointed Ben Brown. What did you expect? Ben Brown came on the news and said, I do the same thing in private with my friends. So now the toxicity has spread from these 2 people who got caught on tape joking about death, joking about making money and saying COVID is the greatest thing that ever happened to us. They should have been fired 5 minutes after that was revealed. 5 minutes. And yet we're here waiting for one of you to stand up and say, hell no, they need to go. They need to go. And instead, you appointed the person who actually himself was run out of office in shame when he worked for the health department because he got caught creating ghost employees and embezzling money there. Look it up. It's on the record. He was under grand jury investigation for that. What did you expect Ben Brown to say? And what did you expect him to be on that jail trust other than yet another crook in a long line of crooks? So you, Brian Mon, need to tell Ben Brown, who says, I do the same thing in private with my friends, that you're gone. You do have the power to remove him. He is your appointee. Remove him now. I expect one of you, and I'm talking to Carrie right now as well, one of you to publicly denounce this and ask for their removal. You created a jail trust. If this jail trust is so out of control as it is, and now the whole world is watching, the whole world is watching. That's a chant that I've been doing for 15 years as we're out doing protests, and guess what? It's a reality. In this case, the whole world is watching. You got away with killing 16 people in the jail last year, but you couldn't get away with making jokes about it. You couldn't get away with making jokes about people dying from COVID while the world suffers. I can't believe this. I can't believe the lack of compassion and the lack of fortitude and the lack of courage that this county commission has exhibited. I understand rich people own you. I understand you get your money and your talking orders from rich people. But by God, you serve the people of Oklahoma County. We will vote you out. And we will do more than that. Eventually, the way these things are coming apart and as fast as this whole charade is coming to pieces, you will all end up in jail. And you will get to see what it's like to be in a cockroach, bed bug infested jail cell with COVID. Treated like criminals before you've ever gone to trial. Killed while you're asleep. I'm angry. And I'm angry because hundreds of people are now contacting us and saying, what the hell is going on in that jail? And what the hell is going on with those administrators? That is why those guards are not trained or supervised. That is why it's out of control inside the jail, because the people running it are out of control. And you, as the people who created the jail trust, you are spineless. If you right now have the authority to say, we're going to put on the agenda next to dissolve the jail trust that we created because we, the county voters, didn't get to vote on that jail trust. You did it. This is your mess. I expect you to clean it up and do the right thing.
Councilwoman Banna.
I appreciate that, but it's Councilwoman-elect, so to respect the process. The audio tape is very clear. Again, I will call it what it is. It's evidence. The audio tape clearly states that Mr. Williams and Mr. Opbrand are admitting that there are no programs at the jail. That every time Mr. Greg Williams comes here and lies officially on behalf of the jail trust, he's lying. There's no official programs that he could actually bring a professional to who can challenge and ask questions to show for, right? He went on to say that when people die, they can use that excuse if there is the underlying factor of COVID, right, to scheme the rest of us into dumping more money into their hands. In other words, incentivizing the disease and the virus and the deaths as a money-making scheme. He went on to admit that the COVID has been used as the facade of the excuse to deny people access and transparency to the operations and the conditions of the jail, including myself. Myself and the president of the NAACP OKC chapter, Garland Pruitt, used to go inside the county jail twice a month during PD and Wetzel. We would have a list of names of detainees. We would do welfare checks. We would do civil rights screens, and we would also do legal redress. That was shut down prior to the pandemic became a situation here when the jail trust took over. Then when the pandemic hit, the pandemic was used as the continued reasoning to deny us access, and to this day, we're being denied access. The pandemic is also being used as the excuse to deny parents and loved ones and spouses and children of Oklahomans trapped inside that unconstitutional and inhumane facility visitation, where children can go see their fathers who may be trapped in that facility up to 2 to 3 years, awaiting their due process. Visual. They can't touch, right? But still, they could go there and see their parents like you and I are looking at each other. Now they have to do it either over the phones, which are barely audible, or pay to utilize the tablets. And I understand Mr. Greg Williams continues to lie that indigent detainees or all detainees are given access to 30 minutes of a free call. But again, I know the beat of the inside of the jail. I know the detainees there. I was on the phone with 2 yesterday. Both of them called for Greg Williams's firing. And we are talking to the detainees inside. We are getting a petition up where the detainees will have a voice in this matter because they are the individuals that are being housed in that facility. Furthermore, you can't hold your staff accountable if you're a crook, if you're a liar, and if this is the morale and this is the reality of your character when you get to operate in privacy. You can't fire other guards for misconduct when they've now been exposed to that audio tape. There is no respect left. The morale, what does that do for the morale? How can another staff member look at Greg Williams and say, I respect that man as my leader and I look up to that, to the leadership, the culture that he sets? Beyond that, they, in that audio tape, break down the scheme, Commissioner Calvi. And Commissioner Calvi, I've read a lot of articles about you boasting about your intelligence and your law degree from Georgetown. And I'm actually maybe calling Georgetown because I've dealt with racism and sexism and hate on college campuses, and asking them how you went through years of college to earn your legal degree, and they weren't able to educate you enough to be a civilized human being. Okay? You're not very smart. You cannot uphold and maintain objective, reasonable debate dialogue. Anytime you are challenged objectively on any of your issues, what you reduce yourself to is name calling. You called me a radical. You've called me a terrorist. You've called me an extremist. But not once have you actually reasonably and objectively responded to any challenge or any argument we've made to you. That's what stupid people do. That's what bullies do, Commissioner Calvi. At the end of the tape, the jail administrator, Mr. Opgrand, continued to talk about how aware they are of how COVID has become a business, right? To make money and profiteer off of, right? So that tape is as damning as it can be. And today, Commissioner Calvi, instead of being reasonable and objective, you are being emotional. Mr. Williams lost his father to COVID. So we ought to give him a pass. We ought to act emotionally to this situation, rather with the virtue of accountability and consistency. And Commissioner Calvi, you got rid of Sheriff P.D. Taylor for less at cost to the taxpayers. And as I walk off here, I do want to say each of you who decided again by yourselves to instead create the jail trust versus take it to a vote of the people, right? Hand it over your authority and power. That's on you. But you do have appointees. Each of you has one appointee through your indentures that sits under trust. Call your appointee. You have power. Your advocacy has weight. Tell them how you feel. Call Chad Alexander, Commissioner Calvi. You call Ben Brown, and Ben Brown needs to go. That's the other thing. He's a sexist. His own conduct with myself, Miss Adriana Laws during the action committee is inappropriate. His own admittance that he himself is a good old boy who makes inappropriate comments, derogatory comments with his good old boys. These types of people cannot do oversight, right? So find you the people who can do oversight. And I'm telling you, Greg Williams is not the guy. It's on the audio tape.
Any other citizens besides those who've signed up? Is there a motion to adjourn? Oh, we got to do number 1. Sorry. Now with the blanket.
Yes, this is just a finalize the purchase order for the item you approved earlier. My request is that you approve 122-04734, which is the blanket purchase order to Pierce Couch in the amount of $50,000 from general fund legal fees.
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chantel. Now is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Hey, Brian. I live a block from you. I'm right against you myself. Are you fucking kidding me?